Cosmic Beauty is celebrating Valentine's Day with the Lovers palette, and I am so excited. Hey y'all, it's Heather, and I have 2 looks, swatches, comparisons, everything you need to know about the new Cosmic Beauty, the Lovers palette. This is such a pretty color story, and it's so versatile. It definitely captures the Valentine's Day feel with the pinks and the purples, and we have multi-chromes and shimmers and sparkles and everything, but we also have some more grungy blue green tones so that this palette can really work for any time of year. Of course, you wear your makeup when you want to wear your makeup. You don't need a holiday to pull out your pink and red shadows, but I think it's super fun to be inspired by the holidays, by the seasons, switch things up, play around with your makeup. This palette is going to be launching soon. I will put the launch date and the launch time down in the description box. I'll also put it in a pinned comment, so all the information you need will be there. Cosmic Beauty is one of my favorite brands. I do have an affiliated code. It is Heather. If you're ever shopping the site, you can use that code to save. They are an independently owned brand based out of the UK. Before I rave about this palette, I want to show you how it performs. We're going to do live swatches, we're going to do comparisons, and we're going to do looks. So let's jump into the live swatches. We are going to do some swatches. We're going to start with this top row. Here is the shade Connection. That one is so pretty. Then I have Unconditional. That one is a pretty pastel-y pink. Next, I have the shade Promise, and then we will do Trust right there. Those shades are really pretty. Like, I wouldn't think to put them together, even looking at them next to each other in the pan, but I think swatched out, they look kind of cool together. Next, I have the shade Attraction. And then what do we have? This is Choices. That's beautiful. Oh, I hope that was in focus. If not, there, you can kind of see it now. There's Choices. And then I have the shade Devoted, that beautiful baby blue. And then I will swatch Communication, that pretty kind of mossy green. Oh, so pretty, so pretty. Here is Self Love, that kind of brown peachy color. And then we have, what's next? Harmony right there. That's a beautiful dark purpley plum. I'll swap over to my wrist and I'll put the shade Mutual right there, and then we will have Partnership. Those 2 colors are super pretty together. Now we just have these 2 rows right here left, 8 more shades. Here is the shade Faithful. Oh, I love that. And then we have, where do I have? The shade Affection right there. That kind of light nude shade, like a neutrally type of color. Really pretty, really gonna be good for blending. I swatched Truth and I realized that I wasn't recording, so I'm gonna swatch it again so that you can see the live swatch. I'll put it right there. It has so much shine and sparkle to it. There is Values, that beautiful baby blue. Those 2 shades together are so pretty. Here is Soulmate, that pretty warm brown. And then maybe I'll put Companion right here. You can see that sparkle, how it kind of catches the light. That's really pretty. Oh, I love that. Last but not least, I'll put the black shade Commitment right there. I should not have put that right over that bone, but let me maybe move it right over here. There we go. That's a lot better. Last but not least, we will swatch the shade Loyal. Ooh, that is so reflective, right? That's beautiful. So many swatches, but we're gonna jump now from the live swatches into the comparisons. For comparisons, we will start with the new Lovers palette and the Gothic palette. Looking at these 2 side by side, you can see that they're not the same. I wanted to pull these out so that you could see kind of these purpley tones in case you were curious if they were repetitive over here. I definitely say that they're not, because these are more pinky in tone, whereas these are definitely more purple. These definitely have like different tones to this shade right here. You can see, not repetitive. Even the black, this one has that little bit of sparkle. So you're not gonna get repeating shades, although these would look really pretty together, right? I do have a video on the Gothic palette too. I have a video on all of these Cosmic Beauty palettes that I'm gonna show you. Next up, I'll show you the Lovers next to the Muse palette. I really like this one too. Looking at these two side by side, over here we have Muse, over here we have the Lovers. I wanted to pull these because yes, we do have some greens, none of them the same that we have over in the Lovers. The shimmers, like nothing, not the same, but we do have greens and we do have some pinky tones. Again, not the same shades repeating. We have this brown kind of plummy shade, different from these browns over here, but I thought it could be helpful to show you these side by side. I always want to be as helpful as possible. And if you like these comparisons, if you like the looks and the laugh swatches and all of that, please do subscribe. I would love it if you would subscribe, stick around. That way you don't miss out on any of my videos. It helps me out so much to know what y'all want to see, what you're into, what you're not into, and what videos you're subscribing on, what you're sticking around for. So definitely don't miss out if you want these types of videos, comparisons, all of that. These would be really pretty together though, right? Like I'm kind of picturing this blue, beautiful shimmer Truth with this water lily shade right here. Yum. Next, we can compare it to Wonderland, this beautiful winter palette. Okay, these are definitely not the same, but I just wanted to show you in case you were thinking of like this teal, this baby blue. The tones are different here, maybe even this shade. It's different than this, which is way more like true minty. The multi-chromes are not the same. We do have a matte black in both palettes and we do have some purple here, but it's not like these purples here. I want to just show you whatever I have, you know, like I want to show you anything you could question, and I don't think these are similar. Last but not least, let's look at the Lovers next to Delicious Delights. So with this palette, we definitely have pinks, but they're way brighter. They're more like intense, right? Like pastel-y, neon, vibrant pinks. And the purples are the same. They're a lot more intense and vibrant, whereas these are a lot more soft. We do have greens in here, but obviously very different in tone, and the blues very different. So this is like a lighter, brighter pastel pop in your face, whereas this is much more muted of a color story. Both super duper pretty, but very different. I just wanted to pull this one over here, Delicious Delights, because we do have some pinks, some purples, some blues, some green, you know, but totally not the same. Now that you've seen the comparisons, let's jump into the two eye looks. Getting into this look, I really am drawn to this shade right here called Mutual and this shade right here called Soulmate. I want to use those two together. I think they're going to pair really beautifully together, and I'm going to prime my eyes first with my Melt Cosmetics bases. I've been testing these, trying these, and I've been really into these bases from Melt. They're not completely matte, but there's something about them that I'm just, I don't know, they're kind of yummy. Now that I have that base on, I want to go in with Mutual, and I want to just pop this in my socket right here. I really like colors like this. I love green in general, and I love a matte that has a little bit of sparkle to it. I'm just gonna windshield wiper motion the shade on, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now I want to use the shade Soulmate. I want to use it on the outer corner, and I also want to put it on the inner part of my lid. That way we can kind of do like a halo eye, a spotlight eye, something like that. So I'm just gonna kind of press and blend this. Also want to take this down around my lower lash line. I'm not trying to get it like super dark or super intense, just a little bit of what's left over without picking up any more shadow. Oh, these mattes just layer so well. Now I'm going to take a brush from my Sigma favorite set and go into the shade Companion because it's calling my name. I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to spray my brush with a little setting spray. I'm going to look down into my mirror and I'm going to press this beautiful shade right in the center of my lid, kind of in between where I put that brown matte. Once it's pressed off of my brush onto my lid, then I'm going to start to slowly kind of blend it but I always like to press and get the shadow off my brush before I blend. Now I'm just gonna grab another brush for my set and go into Promise, this kind of like silvery green color. And I'm not going to spray my brush or anything like that. I just want to lightly kind of tap the shadow onto my inner corner so that we have that little bit of green that's gonna tie in the color that we have in the crease. Just little bit at a time. Oh, that sparkle, like that sparkle, I'm so here for it. Okay, I'm gonna throw on liner and mascara, and I need to finish up the rest of my makeup. All right, y'all, here is my finished look. I just put on a little mascara and some liner. I am really liking this look. It was very easy to do. It only took me a couple of minutes, but I like the versatility. You know, this is like a love Valentine's theme palette, but you wouldn't think that from looking at my eye look, right? Like, we definitely have those Valentine's Day shades, but I like that I can also create non-Valentine's Day looks, like brown, green, shimmer. All the shadows performed super well, and I am here for it. But one last look at this look. We do have more to talk about. We are gonna do something cute and pink today. I wanna do the pinky vibes. I have on this pink blush from the Sinister collection, and I have on the Frosting palette. I have on the pinky toned highlighter. It's hard to see because it's like this like duochrome-esque type of thing, but I've got the pinky vibes going on. So I'm gonna use my Sigma Persuade eyeshadow base. This one has a little bit more of a pinky undertone, whereas the one I normally use, Ignite, has more of that like warm yellow tone. So I'm using this because we're going in with pink shadows. I'm gonna start with these two shades. I'm gonna start with the more mid-tone shade first. I'm just gonna put that shade called Attraction in my socket here. I'm gonna bring it kind of in to the inner part of my eye, and I'm gonna bring it up a little bit to help kind of open things up. But I'm not worried about bringing it out because I wanna do a deep, dark outer corner with the other shade. Now I'm taking that darker shade called Harmony, and I'm going to stamp it first. I'm going to stamp it on my lid. I'm going to stamp it out like this, and then I'm going to slowly buff it. So now I will start to blend and make sure I don't have any like lines, no harsh transition. I'm not gonna worry too much about blending out here because I'm gonna blend in another shade, but I wanna make sure between the first shade we used and this shade that everything flows well. Oh, those shades are so cute together. Now I wanna go in with the matte black shadow, and I'm gonna use this underneath my lower lash line. I'm taking it on a small brush, and I want to make sure that I don't get this all over my face. So I'm just picking up a little bit at a time. I would rather like dip into the pan a couple of times than pick up too much and have shadow all over my face. I don't mind being a little messy, you know, like we're not over here trying to be perfect, but if I can avoid having black eyeshadow on my cheek, I will. That's such a nice black. Like, that's really pretty, really intense. I am here for it. I'm gonna take this little tiny brush and we're gonna go into this like purpley metallic color. This is called Choices. I'm gonna get this on my brush. After I have the shadow on, I'm gonna spray my brush with my setting spray. I'm putting this right on top of that black shadow, all underneath my lower lash line, but I'm going to bring it a little bit lower so that it has a little bit of extra dimension being on top of that black base and then getting lighter. With my Singe EO1, we're gonna go into the multi-chrome. This shade is called Connection, and it's so beautiful. Yes, it is. I think it's gonna go great with these mattes. I think it's gonna go great with anything. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Here's what it looks like kind of in the dark. Some of y'all have let me know that you kind of like when I do this. So just a tiny like little tiny light shining on my eyes. I don't know what you have planned. Maybe you want to wear this eye look in like exploring caves and, you know, the flashlight like shines on your face. Here, here's what that beautiful shadow looks like. I like showing y'all things in different lighting, so I hope this is super helpful. Or maybe like a super romantic candlelight dinner, again, in a cave or something. I don't know. What do I know? I want to grab a little bit of the shade Unconditional. This palette does have a really nice mirror. I always appreciate that. And I'm going to use just that little bit of that light shade to kind of buff out this deeper shade up where we had that kind of mid-tone pink, and just buff and blend around. I will link the brushes that I'm using. I will, everything that I can, I will put in the YouTube feature with the products or in the description box. Whatever I can do, it will be there. I'm gonna use a little bit of Faithful on my Singe EO5. I'm gonna highlight my inner corner. Isn't that cute? That's cute. I like that. And then I'm going to do a false lash. I'm gonna put on liner, mascara, a lash, and I will be back. And here is our finished second look. This palette is so fun. I think they did a great job giving us a versatile color story while still staying with like the Lovers theme. Looking at the cover art for this palette, looking at kind of how they have the pinks and the greens and the blues, I love the way they pulled the inspiration from this and gave us this beautiful color story. I love that we have a multi-chrome. If you are familiar with Cosmic Beauty, I'm thinking the Serenity palette, I'm thinking Undergrowth, the Neutrals, all of those palettes that were favorites for me. This is what I know, love, and expect from the brand. You know, this is the quality I expect. This is the fun color stories. This is the fun packaging. This is everything I want the brand to give me. And I am so into this look. I was so into my first look too, the kind of green and brown. I thought that was like, I was just feeling myself all day. And I'm excited to wear this look for the rest of my day. You know, I'm not going anywhere fancy. I've got like dinner in the crock pot, so it's gonna be a night in, but I don't care. I am glam and I am loving it. Absolutely love this look. I love the way this palette is performing, and if you love makeup like I love makeup, I am constantly talking about new makeup, reviewing new makeup, talking about old makeup, listen, I could just talk about makeup all day, every day. So I'm gonna pop up some videos, and I would love if you would stick around and talk makeup with me down in the comments.